Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Zaddy Zone. Today I am being joined by my new friend, Suzanne Bratton. Suze the Flues, I call her, but she insists...
I don't like that.
You're not a floozy.
I'm not.
What is that? What do you think a floozy means?
Well, I kind of think a floozy is a person who, it's a negative term that you give to a woman who is having a lot of sex, either with, and usually with more than one person.
Right.
And to me, that creates like shame and oppression around your sexuality because it's like, oh, you're a floozy.
Yeah.
And instead, I would prefer to be celebrated for my conscious approach to the variety and novelty and delight and orgasmic potential that I bring to my sex life.
Yes.
So floozy, don't do's it for me's.
Usies. So you're quite particular about your sex life, is what you're saying. It's
Yeah.
not just a one, come all. No. It's you only take a few in and do very particular things. It's not a flooze thing. The only reason I called you Susie the Floozy, I called you Floozy because it rhymes with Susie.
I know.
And that's the only reason.
I
wasn't trying to oppress you
Okay.
with my big, you know.
Oh, I know you're not trying to impress me.
So how's life been for you? Have you been having lots of sex?
Woo, the best sex of my life.
Really?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, incredible. As a matter of fact, I don't know if it was Saturday or Saturday night, I probably had more orgasms in 3 or 4 hours in that kind of given amount of time. And they were orgasms that were lots of different kinds of orgasms from lots of different kinds of stimulation. And they were incredibly intense, and they felt so good, and they transported me into new realms of bliss. And I was very relaxed. And, you know, the thing about orgasms that a lot of people think is like, I've got to make it happen. I've got to have an orgasm. But I think it's more that you have to allow them.
Yes.
And I was in a really relaxed mood. And the more relaxed you are, the lower your performance anxiety, the lower your worry, the more you're just in the flow. And so the orgasms can flow out of you. So
You can let the body take you where it wants to go.
she wants to have orgasms.
Yeah.
So really, I just allow her to. I just let her do what she does.
To be having orgasms for, you know, as much and as long as you have, you must be an orgasm connoisseur.
Yes.
At this point. Because for some people, orgasms would just be like, oh, there's another one, there's another orgasm.
Yeah.
But for you, you seem to be exploring.
Yeah. Well, I call myself an orgasmonaut. Do you
Right.
remember that
I
about
do remember
me?
that,
I go to the
yes.
far reaches of outer space and come back with the map to how I got there so you can do it too. I'm a highly sensitive person, an HSP. I don't have any tags in my clothes. I don't wear anything scratchy. I don't like loud noises.
Yes.
I'm a sensitive creature. And so I take my ability to have felt experiences and put them into words and step-by-step ways that other people can have what I'm having.
Right.
That's kind of how I ended up to be a sexpert. I was
Yeah,
like,
that's-
hey, I think I'm going to write this down so other people can do this too.
Yes.
It started with my expanded orgasm practice, actually.
Okay. And what was that? What's the expanded orgasm practice?
Well, it goes by many names. Deliberate orgasm. It was invented by Victor and Suzanne Baranco in the 70s because Susie couldn't come, and Victor's like, let's fix that.
Right.
So they came up with this very, very light clitoral stroking technique there's 5 strokes to it. There's the 3 opening strokes, the bread and butter stroke, and the closing stroke. And for a lot of women who they're like, well, I can have an orgasm, but I'm one and done. That's all I can do. I'm like, well, you're driving your clitoris too hard.
Right.
You're just putting so much sensation on it, you're blowing it out. And the clitoral stroking practice that Susie and Victor created in this, what some people call a sex cult, was called deliberate orgasm. And deliberate orgasm, or doing, D-O, deliberate orgasm, D-O, doing is the practice. You got done. You were a doer. These are the words of that practice. And that very light clitoral stroking does a number of things. One, the woman is in complete receivership. She's not doing anything. It removes the performative nature of orgasm.
Oh, beautiful.
And it allows her to begin to really feel the sensations in her clitoral structure. And then it allows her to get to the point where she can stay in the sensation of pleasure, because for a lot of people, they shy away from the sensation of pleasure. It's almost like too much for them, and they have to like come out of it and take an emotional break from it because it's too much. So when you go really lightly, literally the bread and butter stroke is the tip of your finger on the clitoral, essentially the glands, because your clitoris is a little glands with a shaft, 2 arms and 2 legs.
Okay, yep.
Inside there. When you're on the glands where the 10,000 nerve endings are, and you don't touch the skin of the glands, but you touch the meat of the glands underneath the skin with the lightest of strokes. The kind of stroke, you know how when you get an eyelash on your eyeball?
Yes.
And sometimes you just like lick the tip and then you go right in there and you're so delicate.
Yes.
That's the stroke. It's that delicate.
Yes.
And so then the woman can be like, oh, yeah, that's the spot. And she gets completely relaxed. You feel her. You're limbically connected to her. You're stroking this light, slow, delicate stroke. And she ends up being able to surrender into the sensation of that. And it puts her into an orgasm. And then she can stay in that orgasm. The way that I've been teaching it for 20 years, because I've had a 20-year expanded orgasm practice with Sir Tim, and we have an online program called Expand Her Orgasm Tonight. I'll put that on moreluke.com as well.
Oh, yes, please.
We've been teaching this practice with this stroke, and when you do that, the expanded orgasm is like you start to have an orgasm, and the moment of time gets stretched like taffy, where you stay in the orgasm. You know how you think about an orgasm as like,
Yeah.
That's kind of the male interpretation of an ejaculatory male orgasm, and men can come 20 different ways, just like women can. The human body has 20 different types of orgasmic pleasure it can achieve. And the 20th one is wild card, because as the orgasmonaut, I'm still in space looking for more orgasmic pleasure.
So there's a chance that have you experienced the 20th? Or there's a chance that there's more?
There's more.
Oh, wow.
There's always more. I joke that if sex were a brand, it would be sex. There's always more. That's Sex's tagline.
Yeah,
if you didn't know.
That's interesting. So let's just clarify. Sir Tim,
Sure.
Sir Tim is your husband?
He is.
And was he actually knighted by Queen Elizabeth?
Well, he's a prince among men, so all of the people who know him just call him Sir Tim.
Okay.
He really is a prince.
Excellent. And now on Saturday night, as you were mentioning, the 3 hour. Was that with Sir Tim?
Yes, that was with Sir Tim.
Sir Timothy.
Yeah.
And what was? Would you give us what happened?
Well, I'm 61, so my sex life starts with pain cream. First, we do
with pain cream.
Yes, because I'm always working out every day. And so I've always pulled something, or like right now I've blown out I ripped my ACLs skiing in Big Sky, so there's like always some like, oh, Daddy, can you get that thing first? So we start with some nice pain cream massaging, and we connect with each other. We just kind of relax with each other.
Yep.
And then usually we end up moving into the expanded orgasm practice. So basically until Sir Tim's legs start to go completely numb.
Meaning he's standing.
No, he's sitting down, and his leg is over me. This leg is this way, and then I'm under him here, and he's kind of like this, stroking my yoni, and my head's up there.
You're on his lap?
No, I'm under this leg. We're on the bed. I'm under this leg, and this leg is on a pillow, and my feet are sticking out there. My yoni's here, and my belly's here under his leg, and my head is up here, and I'm usually touching him over here with this hand, and he's stroking my yoni right here.
You're reaching around.
I'm like back here, so I can touch him over here, like this.
Okay, so wait, he's sitting
I feel bad for your audio listeners.
That's okay.
You're gonna have to watch the video.
You're gonna have to watch it. So he's sitting on the bed though.
Yeah, with his back against the headboard.
And you're laying
underneath that leg.
Got it. Yes.
Yeah, so he can look right down there, and that's my yoni right in front
here.
of him.
Yeah. So there's he's like a worker in a workstation. He's like a carpenter.
Yeah, he's working on the yoni.
Yeah, got it. I appreciate that. Now, where can we hear more about this expanded orgasm practice? Because it sounds fascinating to me.
Yeah. Well, so the program that we created has videos that show you all the strokes. It shows you a full date, and it gives you 21 erotic play dates. So like if you and Cara decided that you wanted to start your expanded orgasm practice, which I highly recommend, honestly, especially right after you had Ozzy, because once a woman has a couple kids, she's not ready to just like jump into getting banging.
Yeah.
You know, she needs to be turned on slowly, and the expanded orgasm practice allows her to rest and settle into her body. It gets her engorged, so she's got a lot of good blood flow into her yoni, so that she starts to begin to lubricate, so that she starts to want to have intercourse. And so we really started the expanded orgasm practice because I wasn't having orgasms from intercourse, and we wanted to just be like, let's just slow our roll and start doing some orgasmic cross training, which is one of the new books I'm writing. I'm writing Orgasmic Intercourse, and I'm writing Orgasmic Cross Training, these two ideas of how you can, all orgasms are learned skills.
Yes.
And the number one thing women say to me is, I want to come from intercourse and I can't figure out how to do it. And I'm like, all right, well, let me just write down all the steps and give that to you. So that's what I'm working on right now.
I appreciate that. I love that you went back, though. You don't go, well, let's just keep having sex and just hope it figures itself out. Let's go back to the most simple little touch. And so the expanded orgasm practice have you got expandedorgasm.com?
Yes. Yeah.
You would. And it's there?
Yeah, it's at expandherorgasmtonight.com.
Okay, great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Your ability with URLs is unmatched. How many URLs have you got?
Oh, I don't know, hundreds.
Wow.
Yeah, and they're such good names. I know, that's fun, isn't it? I do like to create domains.
You really do like
sexy ones, like moreluke.com.
Moreluke.
Yeah.
You can go to moreluke.com today, by the way,
Yeah.
and find everything that we talk about, including we're going to talk about a penis pump. We're going to talk about a vibrator in just a few moments. We'll put expanded orgasm on there too, so that it can easily be found.
Yeah.
But that couple who developed the expanded orgasm practice,
Victor and
tell
Susie.
me just a little bit about the history. Why were they called a sex cult? Because it was so good and everyone was doing it?
So it was called Moore University or Moore House, and they all lived together, and they practiced this expanded orgasm technique on each other. And so they would all do each other every day, multiple times a day. And they also had a lot of kind of processing, and they would get together and have they were really delving deeply into human sexuality and its impact on the human psyche.
Yes.
From a masculine and feminine perspective. What are the basic tenets of having, some of the things they believed were that it's a woman's, she leads the turn on. She's the one that needs to be in charge, and it has to go at her pace, and you have to support her. And that's very much what Tim and I have also learned about our sexuality and about having great sex for over 30 years together. Is this notion that it's kind of like Tim and I, we call ourselves Team Sweetie. We were a hashtag before there were hashtags. And we're Team Sweetie, and it's kind of us against my yoni. Like, she's a recalcitrant little, bitch sometimes.
Right.
And so we have to like woo her and get her going. And so we team up.
Leads.
She's in charge.
Yes. What's her name? Oh, okay.
Susie the Floozy, apparently.
I just thought that you would have covered that at some point.
I guess I did. Well, maybe you need to just name my yoni for me, Luke.
No, I refuse.
No.
What about
I refuse.
has his penis got a name?
Yes, it does. It's called, we call it the sea serpent.
I thought that Sir Timothy would have Excalibur or something like that.
I like that. We can call it that too. But yeah, we call it the sea serpent.
Okay.
And, one of the reasons I married him was because he had a large penis. I've been a size queen my whole life. Now, as you know, I'm a giantess. I'm
you are
Amazon.
tall.
I got out of the car. This is the first time we got to meet in the flesh, right?
Yes.
And I got out of the car, and you're like, oh, you are big,
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, I am. And So I need some endowment
Sure.
in the bedroom. And that was one of the things I loved about him. And it has grown and grown since I have known him. You know, most men over time, as they age, their penises get smaller. It's called atrophy. It's shrinkage. And not Sir Tim. The sea serpent has grown some additional dimensions.
Wow.
He does the pumping. He does pumping, he does traction, and he takes the nitric oxide supplement. He does that.
And then what's the traction?
I did not bring you a traction device.
It's a device.
Yeah,
Okay.
it actually, what it does is it's called Deep, and it's made by the same company that makes the Whopper.
Yep.
I'll put a link to it on moreluke.com for you too.
Great,
What I said to Luke today was, anything that we talk about, I'll put a link at moreluke.com so that you can be like, what was that thing? What was that thing? What was that thing? You know, and so you can easily find it.
Yes.
So the traction device is called Deep, and basically it's a penile extender. So if you really, a lot of guys, they want more length and girth. And that's what I like about the Whopper penis pump, is that it's a 2-cylinder system that pumps for both length and girth. So it draws more blood into the penis, reverses atrophy, and actually enlarges the penis in a safe and natural way. And the thing is that for a lot of guys, they're like, how do I get it longer, bigger, faster? And the penile extender is actually an accelerator. It actually stretches the tissue of the penis. It doesn't hurt. You wear it for about a half an hour before you start the pumping routine. And what it does is it divides the cells and grows and lengthens the penis even better than you can get just with the pump.
Wow. Susan gave me a pump. I have had it for a couple of months now, and I've used it once with Cara. We had some fun.
It's fun to see it.
I will say it was fun to watch because it was amazing. But I will say that the reason I stopped using it, apparently you've got to use it over time. I think that's what's really important.
It's just like bodybuilding.
Right.
You got biceps like that. You didn't get that from one pump.
No, that's true.
That's a lot of pumping.
You've got to keep
right
going over
Let
time.
me see them again.
Sure. There you go. You like that?
Oh,
Go on, have a
yes.
squeeze. Have a squeeze. Cara was just about to have Aussie, and I was like, well, I don't think that it's a good time to start this.
Oh.
Given that she was about to have a baby and we wouldn't be able to have sex for a few months anyway, and then to be presented with my enlarged,
Your sea serpent.
engorged penis, my Excalibur, my sea serpent, just wouldn't have been fair. Right now, as it stands, it's presentable and doable for her.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to, give her the expanded version just yet, the director's cut.
Well, the vagina is a muscle that is infinite. I mean, she got Ozzy out of there.
Amazingly, by the way.
I know, that was so.
Amazingly.
I really appreciated you sharing all of that in your stories too. Thank you so much. I love that. You know, I assisted my girlfriend in having an ecstatic birth. I was her ecstatic birth massage partner last year.
Really?
And she's got a 4-month-old little girl right now.
What's ecstatic birth?
What ecstatic birth is essentially home birth that is pleasurable. And she's a pleasure coach. And so she said to me, do you want to be my ecstatic birth partner? And I said, sure, what is that? And she said, I don't know, let's make it up. So basically, I did to her what Sir Tim has been doing to my as yet unnamed yoni, with all of the massaging and the stroking that he does for me in our lovemaking dates. I just started doing that to her. And it was so interesting. She said 2 things. Number one, that she had never been touched like that in her entire life, and she's 45.
Wow.
That only her lovers had only ever just stroked her clitoris and stuck their fingers, penis, or whatever inside her, and that no one had ever touched her outer labia, her mons, her inner labia, her fourchette, the hood of her clitoris. No one had ever brought pleasure to all of those parts before. And she said, I mean, it's just incredible, because a lot of what I was doing in ecstatic birth for her was I was doing a mind-body connection with her. I was saying, I'm rubbing your mons. I'm rubbing it across, back and forth. Now I'm rubbing your labia, but I'm not rubbing up. I'm only rubbing from the top down. Can you feel how I'm petting it like a kitty? And she would be purring at that point. And I wanted to help her get in touch with her yoni and to be able to relax it, to squeeze, to let go, to push out. to have more musculature control, as well as to know what was being touched and to also have all of it being activated for pleasure. So I don't know how we got here, but
I like it.
It was incredible.
It's also worth mentioning that, obviously the release of oxytocin really helps with childbirth.
Yes.
So being in love and like relaxed,
Yes.
kissing your partner,
Yes.
hugging them
Yeah.
is only ever helpful.
Yes.
So that's really great to hear. I've heard about the orgasmic practice, but that sounds next level. Was her partner, was he or she in the room when you were doing this?
Sometimes not.
Yeah, I just wondered how they feel about it. Do they feel normal about it?
Yeah, really great.
Cool.
It was an interesting thing because it wasn't like she was my lover,
Yes.
but she was. We were
yes.
lovers because I was giving her orgasms. I was stroking her yoni. I was stroking her breasts and nipples. I was rubbing butter on her belly. I was loving her. I was worshiping her matriarchal goddess energy.
Yes.
And when she was coming, I was coming. I was giving her the orgasms. I was feeling her. That's one of the reports that we give away at Expand Your Orgasm Tonight. It's called Touching for Rapture. It's this idea that instead of touching for effect, like I'm going to touch your knee and I'm going to, I'm doing something to you, versus how I would touch you if I was touching you for my pleasure. So now, can you feel the difference? Like I'm feeling how nice you feel.
Yes.
That's touching for rapture, not touching for effect.
Yes.
And so I was doing that to her when I was stroking her and petting her and loving her. And it was giving me orgasms, giving her orgasms. So I'm very good at entering into this erotic trance state of expanded orgasm because I've been doing it for decades. And so when I connect, I'm coming when you're coming. I'm making you come. I'm giving you the comes. She's allowing the comes to come out. But we're in an incredible limbic connection. So it's mutually orgasmically pleasurable, but it wasn't the same as like hot sex.
Yeah, of course.
It was.
It sounds more intimate than that and less you give, I get, I give, you get. That, like, it's...
No quid pro quo. She had to do nothing but receive incredible pleasure, and that was what created my pleasure.
Yes. Now, just explain the rapture to me once more.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that it's just for what, in the instance that you're talking about, the context. It sounds like the context of all touch, physical, sexual touch, should be this. Could you just explain that once more, the rapture?
Yeah. So when you're doing orgasmic stroking, you will be able, with practice, to feel when you touch a clit or a penis or any part of a person's body over time, you'll be able to feel like the spot. There's a spot. There's a stroke on a penis that feels so good in that moment. That's making you turned on, giving it to your partner. When I'm stroking you and it's turning me on, you're going to feel that turn on. If I stroke you to make you feel good, it's nice. But if I stroke you to get myself off, it's even better. And so when you bring that into your touch and you get yourself off, giving the pleasure, that's what the rapture is. That's the touching for rapture.
That sounds sensational.
It is.
Wow.
Yeah.
And we're talking about birthing.
Yeah. Yeah, it's so nice. When I would give her orgasms, little Zoe would be just doing backflips in her belly.
Wow.
I mean, it just awakened her, and it was so nice. It was beautiful what we had together. It was extraordinary to have the pleasure of feeling her ripening, to feel her yoni just exploding in this fecund, beauty, and just to see her belly grow and to see all the engorgement that happened from her pregnancy and all the blood flow coming in, the placenta growing, the baby growing, feeling the uterus, feeling the cervix kind of coming down into the birth canal.
Yes.
Oh man, it was righteous.
Incredible.
We should be doing these things for each other.
I agree.
This is what women should be doing for each other. This is what partners should be doing for each other. This is what lovers should be doing for each other.
Oh my God, I agree. Like every time we talk, I always feel inspired to get out there and do it to all of Kara's pregnant friends.
Hey, as you know, I'm a big believer in making offers. I think that you have to have the courage to make offers to people, and some people will be like, "Oh no, that's weird. That's not right for me," and other people will be like, "Yeah, that actually sounds really interesting. I like to think about people as being not necessarily always lovers, but research partners." This is another thing that came out of the Moore University, was this notion of research partners, that you can have an expanded orgasm practice with multiple people. It's basically just hands on yoni, so it's any gender on a yoni, and you can do it on a lingam too. Lingam is the commensurate word to yoni, so a lingam is a penis. So they're Sanskrit words, they're tantric lovemaking words. And you can make a lot of offers to people over the years, and I've just become more emboldened to being like, "Hey, would you like to try having an expanded orgasm date, or would you like a lingam massage, or would you like to try ecstatic birth, or whatever it is?" And even if you bat 2 out of 10, you're going to have 2 more incredible experiences than you would have before. So many people, they're just like waiting for the perfect thing, when there's so many incredible, pleasurable experiences you can co-create with fun people you really dig, where you create your boundaries around what the rules of engagement are going to be. Like, why did my girlfriend's husband, why was he fine with me giving his wife orgasms while she was pregnant? Because that's all we were doing.
Right.
Because there was a boundary around it. And we created a safe container for her to have all this pleasure during her pregnancy.
Yeah, I think you're right. And also it's good to be aware that, you're a person who's very into this stuff and you're very open. And I think your very presence opens people up to that sort of thing. Whereas, a person who doesn't dress quite like this.
Well, you told me to dress like this.
I
would have worn my yoga clothes.
Oh, really?
Because that's what I wear all the time. I basically just live in yoga pants.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, but I wanted to get dressed up for you, and you said, well, let's... Well, I DM'd you, and I was like, I want to come over to your house and dress you up.
Right, but even if you don't dress like this, the truth is that you are this way. You are a really open person. You're clear. You're famous because of what you do.
Yeah.
And you are going to open people's minds to these sorts of things. So if you make an offer, they're going to be like, well, if I'm going to be in good hands, it's going to be hers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yes, you'll come back better than you left.
That's true. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about, so that it isn't just Sir Tim. You also have other lovers.
Yeah.
And how does that work with Tim? Do you talk about it, and is he cool with it, and how does that work?
Yeah, he loves it.
Really?
Yeah, he loves it because, what is it about it that he loves? Well, I'd say that one of the reasons that he loves it is because he just loves, he's the wind beneath my wings. And he always has been. Remember when I told you that I wanted to marry him because he had a big one? Mm-hmm. Well, that was one of the reasons. One of the other reasons was that I'm ambitious. I think I told you before that my epitaph is going to be, she had a lot to say. I'm just on fire. Writing multiple books. I just launched the Quiet Vibe Awards. I've got a vibe to show you. I brought you a toy. I brought Kara a toy. It's so good. Talk about setting a match.
Right.
This is going to be good.
Very excited.
But I think what he loved my ambition. And he's always been, there's more. You could be more. You could be bigger. You could do this. You could, I want you to go for it. And he's like that in all aspects of my life. And he loves a really turned on woman. He loves living with a woman who has an appetite, not just for sex, but for life. Who is fueled by her sexual vitality, whose creativity is driven by the pleasure that I create with people. And so I love to be with him, and he loves to be with me, and he is equally happy if I'm with another person who is safe and loving and kind and gentle and won't give us STIs. So we do this thing called fluid bonded screened group. We have a screening group. So there are people in our group that we all make love together. And that's because everyone's had all their STI tests, and we have a specific list of them that we recommend. And that means they're clean. Nothing's going to, they're not going to give us anything. We're not going to get anything from them. They're not going to get anything from us. We're all STI tested. And then there's no risk. We're not going to get hurt. We might have our hearts broken.
Wow.
But the interesting thing about your heart breaking is that your heart, so one of my mentors, I've been super lucky to have a lot of really incredible mentors, and one of them was Dr. Deborah Anapol. She wrote a book called The 7 Laws of Love. And one of the laws of love is that if you want more love, if you want to feel more love, give more love. And that your heart is both a door and a muscle. It's a door, you have to open it to give the love. And when you lose that love and that door shuts, it hurts. But it gets bigger the more you use it, just like a penis pump or a bicep, right?
Yeah.
And so the more that you love and the more that you give love, the more that you feel love and you feel loved and you are in love.
Yeah.
And so the idea of having the ability to love many, this is literally what polyamory stands for. Love many. Many love.
Yes.
That's what it is.
Yes.
And so we practice a very, very safe form of completely inclusive, very, very heart-connected, conscious love making. That's what I'm all about.
I appreciate that. Now, how many people are in this group, if you don't mind me asking?
Well, it ebbs and flows.
Okay.
Because people come and go over time. When you've been together for 30 years,
Yes.
you know, people come in and out.
30 years the group has been in existence?
No, about 15, probably closer to 20 now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And why do they go when they go?
They fall in love with someone. They close their relationship. They move away. They enter into some drama or something that's untenable for the group.
Yes. And then there's the group, when that drama happens, does the group discuss?
Oh yeah.
And
everything is processed, look.
Really?
Everything is processed, yes. This is what poly is. It's calendaring, processing, and super hot sex.
Right. Amazing. So let's just say that there is a drama in the group.
Yeah.
And you'll invite the clan together. Do you make love and then talk, or do you talk and then make love?
Oh, it just depends on the situation. And honestly, hardly anybody leaves the group for bad reasons.
Right.
It's happened one time where I requested that a person no longer be in the group, and that
Okay.
was difficult for others in the group.
Yeah.
And we practice a matriarchal polyamory. If mama ain't happy, ain't nobody happy.
Right.
I mean, you know,
You being the mama?
I'm the mama.
Okay. But are the other mama, like there are...
Other mamas come in and out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
AKA the mama has to be safe.
Yeah.
The mama has to be all good.
Yeah.
Okay, I appreciate
Right.
that.
Security, my number one relationship value, which you know about me.
Yes, I loved that. Before you said to me, off air, Susan said that her number one priority is security and second is freedom.
Freedom. Yeah.
Explain how those
And third
two things...
is honesty.
Third is honesty,
Yeah.
yeah.
And fourth is variety, novelty. No surprise there.
Yeah, I mean, because those things are not all the same. They're all very different things. Security and freedom are kind of polar opposites in a
They
way.
are.
But you need security in order to feel free
Yes.
in many ways.
Stable base, wind beneath my wings.
Yes, let's talk about let's talk about security and freedom and how you see those things intertwining. Like, how does it work with Tim and then with security and freedom?
Yeah. Well, he totally takes care of me and lets me do anything I want. Not, I mean, you know, basically.
Yes.
Because I make good decisions and I talk about everything with him and he loves me to live my life. You know, we really are very much, we have a mindset that we've been together longer than we've been apart now, with 30 years. And I'm in it for the rest of my life with him. And I plan to live a good long time. I'm going for over 100. So I'm, you know, living the lifestyle that is required to make it that long. And I'm really barely hitting my prime. I feel like I'm just coming into my own right now in my 60s. It's just incredible how great the 60s are. So, and that's because I have great health.
Yes.
Which is what you have to have.
Yeah. It's a blessing, but it's also something you work for.
I work hard.
Yeah.
Work out every day.
Love that.
Yeah.
And where does sex play into the longevity?
Well, interestingly enough, of course, sex gives you a wonderful hormone cascade. It gives you all those feel-good chemicals.
Yes.
It's a rebooting of your nervous system. It's bonding to yourself and your partner. But there's an interesting study that I love that 3,500 people were shown pictures of humans between the ages of 18 and 80, and they had to guess their age. And there was this group of people that everybody guessed to be 10 years younger than their actual age. And they called them the super young. And they were like, what is the correlation between all these super young people? And they figured it out. And it was that these were the people that had intimate relations 3 times a week or more. So basically, if you want to live longer, and I didn't say sex.
Yes.
Because when I say sex, people think intercourse.
Yes.
And that is a patriarchal religious paradigm. Mm-hmm. Sex is for procreation only. Only intercourse counts. Everything else is foreplay. And it's like, well, it turns out foreplay gives me as many orgasms as the sex, so let's do them all.
Yes.
I don't want to skip anything, and why rush to intercourse?
Yes.
And if you have a nice slow roll to intercourse, then she's going to be engorged and get her lady boner, which takes her 20 to 30 minutes of stimulation. It takes him 2 to 3 minutes to get his manny boner. And so when they have sex right away, she never achieves her orgasmic potential. This is why women aren't having orgasms from intercourse. They're not getting enough pleasuring beforehand. They're not letting their genitals get engorged, which is why I want to show you the toy that I brought for you today, because to me it's the Rosetta Stone for lady boners. Basically, it's the
Rosetta Stone.
Yeah, for lady boners. There you go.
Surely we can think of something better than the Rosetta Stone. Because isn't it isn't Rosetta Stone the language chick?
I think it's
the Martin Luther King of vibrators.
You are emancipated.
Yes.
Free the lady boner.
Yeah. I had a
Let's
dream.
get some reparations for the lady boner while we're at it.
Wow.
Because the lady boners have not gotten their due.
I mean, I just think Rosetta Stone's an interesting phrase for it. But back to what you were saying about the idea that, not sex. And I think that people hear the word sex and have their they had their ideas about it. They're like, oh, sex is this.
Yeah.
And it's like, sex is so often not that.
Yeah.
It's not, penis in vagina coming done. Or penis in butthole coming done. Yeah. It's not that. Yeah. Sex is a whole world. It's a whole, making out can be sex.
Oh, God, I love to make out.
Yeah, I know you must.
I could do that for hours.
I bet you do.
I do.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's it like? How much of the time of the day do you have sex, would you say?
Well, it depends on the week, but if I think about a week, I like my lovemaking sessions to be an hour or 2 or 3 or 4 long, because I like to just relax, the pain cream and the yoni massages and the oral pleasuring.
And you take a break?
Yeah, we take breaks, we have snacks, we, whatever. We get up and do things. Tim's got to go get up and check on something on the computer and come back or whatever. I mean, we're in no hurry.
Amazing.
We just enjoy ourselves.
Oh my God, incredible.
Yeah, so how much time do we have a week to do that? A couple times maybe.
Okay.
Not a lot. Yeah. And Sir Tim won't give me a quickie.
He refuses.
He won't. He's like, no, I can't do it.
Okay.
Because if I rush and we have intercourse before you're warmed up, your yoni's going to have her nose out of joint and she's going to be all pissy, and then I'm not going to get laid for who knows how long because
she's a sassy little Sally, isn't she?
She's saucy. Definitely. She's a saucy, sassy little lassie.
Now, does he practice ejaculation, like holding on to his ejaculate?
Oh, no, he loves to come.
Oh, yeah, right. Okay, like every time.
Oh, yeah.
Basically,
For sure. And I like him too.
But having sex over many hours isn't that easy. So he's probably got some technique down for withholding, making sure that he can continue.
Well, if you're rubbing pain cream on me, it's not going to make you ejaculate.
Sure.
If you're rubbing my yoni, it's not going to make you ejaculate.
No.
If I go down on him, I'm not going to get him to the point where he does ejaculate because I want to save it for my yoni.
Yes.
Because I like all of the things that are in semen. They're good for my body.
Right. Yeah. Now, but when you get to the sex where he could ejaculate, so how do you make sure that that's extended for him?
Well, sometimes what I like to do is I like to take him right to the edge and keep him there for so long and just torture him with pleasure.
Yes.
And I think, did I tell you last time that I've been really, really working on my cowgirl game?
Your cowgirl game.
Yeah.
Okay. No.
Girl on top.
Okay.
So the last couple of years, I have just been dialing that shit in.
Really?
Yeah, and so I like to basically get on Daddy and just ride him and take him right to the edge and bring him back down, take him right to the edge, bring him back down, and just keep it going for as long as he can stand it.
Incredible.
Yeah, so I can last, and then we can take a break, and then he can get hard again, and we can go again, or we can do something else, whatever it is. I mean, there's no rush, there's no hurry, there's no prescriptive format. Everything is just, what does Yoni want right now? Let's give her what she wants.
Yeah, and you're talking to her.
Yeah.
Speaking of vaginas, we have something here. So what have I got in my hand here that looks wonderful? Oh, hi.
Well, first of all, you have a vibrator that looks like a microphone, so who doesn't love that? I mean, if I had this when I was little, I could have done all my acts in my bedroom with my little bedroom light and my girlfriend Holly Brown and not use my hairbrush. I could have used this instead. It would have been so much better. You know, did you do that when you were little? Did you do like shows and you use the hairbrush?
I'm sure I did.
I am sure you did.
Yes.
You did if anybody did.
But why is this so... there are vibrators galore out there. I've been to a few sex shops and I go in, I'm like, which one do I choose? I have no
I've
idea.
been to a few sex shops, he says.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not...
You've been to a few.
I wouldn't say I'm like a connoisseur of them by any means.
You don't have like 60 sex toys like I do.
No, I wouldn't understand which is a good one, which isn't. But this is a good
my
one.
job. This is the one.
The one.
The one. The new one. This is a new toy from Fun Factory. I'll put a link to it on moreluke.com. It has a button that says fun, which you can press, and it starts the fun. And basically, you remember your mom's old massager? Mom's massager.
Oh, no. Let's
Remember
not
that?
bring Mum into this. Yeah, I know what you're talking about, though. Yeah.
Well, this is Mommy's new massager.
Right.
This one, it's called a wand. And essentially this, if you feel it, it's beautifully weighted. And it has this really nice, very flexible head to it. So you can kind of lie on top of it or use it on top of yourself or what have you. It is very quiet. I mean, even if you turn this up. So I think I told you that I just launched my Quiet Vibe Awards. The book I just finished is called The Quiet Vibe Guide.
Okay.
I'll put it on moreluke.com. It's a Quiet Vibe Guide, and I picked my top 10 favorite toys. Remember I told you I was a highly sensitive person?
Yes.
So I hate loud stuff. It gets on my nerves. And I wanted to find out what the highest vibration, best delicious sensation, quietest toys were. And I did an exhaustive study, and I also did, I had 2 engineers work with me to do the sound measurements with a decibel meter and a sound cage and all kinds of stuff.
Wow.
And found the 10 most powerful yet quiet vibrators, because some people are highly sensitive like I am.
Yes.
Other people have kids in the house and they don't want the kids to hear it. Other people live with roommates or in community and they want their privacy around their sex toys. And so I think quiet vibes are really important. And so the old mom's massager's a noisy fucker, but it works really well. It's fantastic at giving you like big vibration. The problem is that the old mom's vibe, it basically would take your pussy lips and go like this, and that did not feel so good.
Right.
Where this vibrator, this wand, it sends the sensation deep into your body. It's like it somehow they did the vibration. I think they used some kind of magnetics or some weight. It was a weighted thing they put in the head. Look, I'm stroking it. I'm just like, I'm touching it for rapture.
Yeah. That's good.
And you can feel it, it's penetrating.
Yeah.
And what I love about it is, you know how I was talking about lady boners and how we have all this erectile tissue and it takes us 20 minutes to get as hard as our male-bodied partners, and this is why women aren't having the orgasms they should. It's because they don't get enough engorgement in their yoni. And so what I love about this vibrator is you can use this before intercourse, and you can rub it on the outer labia, on the mons. You love it when I talk about the
What's the mons again? I know that it's your favorite, like mons, Venus, the mons.
Yes, the mons pubis. It's the
Mons
plumpy
pubis, mons
little
venus.
part above the labia, below your belly.
Yep.
It's the top of the pubic hair. It's
Oh,
the mound.
I know the one you're talking about.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
So delicious. And
Yeah.
when you use the wand on the mons, when you use the wand on the mons, you get it like gelatinous. And when you get it gelatinous, the fluids can flow into your yoni. Because all your lubrication and all your engorgement comes from your blood plasma. When you get turned on, the blood runs down into your penis and makes it hard.
Yep.
It runs down into all of our erectile tissue, which is, we have the same amount. Like if I took your penis, which I know is probably, that long-ish, right?
Yeah.
You've got twice as much. It goes into your body and down. It's twice as long as it looks. You've got half sticking out and half is inside, buried shaft.
Yes.
So now imagine all of that erectile tissue, like a banana's worth.
Yes.
Now, turn that into a circle that comes to a point, and that's what's inside us, women.
Yes.
And so what's great about that is that when you use this wand to stimulate the outer tissue, it gets deep into that erectile tissue, and then the blood flows into your pelvic bowl, and the plasma seeps down, and it makes you have your clitoral erection. And the clitoral erection isn't that little tip that you see. That's just the tip of the iceberg. 95% of it's inside.
Right.
So this wand has basically the carrying capacity for getting all that blood flow. So you get your giant lady boners. So you have more surface area that sends more pleasure signals to your brain, which is your biggest sex organ. You feel more pleasure. You have more intensity of orgasm.
Yes.
So I love this because it's doing the work for you. You don't have to do all the manual stimulation or the oral pleasuring. You can do those too, and they feel even better after you've run the wand on everything.
Yes.
Plus, you can ride these orgasms. So when you have this on your clitoral structure and you're just holding it, and look, it's like a pencil. It's so light and easy to hold, which is nice too. I mean, this is a beautiful German design. This is the Porsche of vibrators.
Before we talked about expanded orgasm.
Yeah.
And we kind of talked about how you don't have to do a whole bunch of pounding and all this stuff, which is great, but it's not always good.
It's good once you're really fully engorged.
Right.
Then there's a plumpy pillow
Right.
for the pounding.
And so this enables the plumpy pillow.
This is the plumpy pillow inflator.
Yeah, great. Okay, well this is very good to know, and I guess to achieve that, it's individual, but there's a little minus and a plus button.
Yeah.
I guess going down a little bit and starting nice and slow.
You want to start on one. Yeah, you want to take yourself up slowly, not just be like, how fast can I make myself have an orgasm? You want it to be like, let's just stretch this out. Let's just go as long as we possibly can.
Oh, it's quite, when you go right down low, it's quite swirly.
Yeah. Oh, and these all these
little
little swirls hold the lube on here so that the lube just kind of stays on it really well. You don't have to do a lot of reapplication of the lube.
Ah,
too.
very clever. Very clever. Let's talk about that for a second. 'Cause
Sure.
What lubes do you recommend for use in sex? Let's just talk about
Yeah.
if you're not using a condom, for instance.
Yeah.
I guess it must be different if you're not.
I can tell you exactly what to do.
Yeah.
So I use my general daily lube, which I buy by the is a liter. I think it's a double liter. It looks like almost a gallon.
Yep.
Is an organic refined avocado oil.
Okay.
And I just get it from, I think it's like oilscenter.com, H&B Oils or something like that. I just buy refined avocado oil because you could make salad dressing out of it. If you wouldn't put it in here, don't put it down there.
Yes.
It's two sides of the same tube. You don't want to get any toxins and things in.
Yeah, got it.
But I also like my extra fancy Awakening Intimate Oil from Foria.
Okay.
And I also, for anal pleasuring of my lovers or myself, I like something called Uber Lube, which is a really high quality, beautiful silicone lubricant. So those are the three that I recommend.
And you wouldn't need the silicone one, though?
No.
No.
But it's really the best
very
for
slippery.
anal pleasuring. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's very
yeah.
smooth and slippery and very, very, very finely, highly refined, very nice.
And the Foria one, that's a CBD or
It is a CBD.
Yeah, I have that one.
Yeah, oh, it's nice.
Yeah, it's nice,
Yeah,
yeah.
their Awaken one has the scent of cardamom in it, and it's a lovely light fragrance, and it has just a little bit of like warming activation, but it's all natural ingredients. I don't recommend any lubricants you can buy at the store because they're all FDA Class 2 products. They have to be registered, so they have to have preservatives in them. And a lot of times the preservatives are chemicals.
Yeah.
So I like just as natural as you can get, except for the anal pleasuring, which you really need a silicone lubricant. That's the best.
I'd say
and it's a fairly inert product, but there's no studies on if I stick this up my butt, will it be up there forever? Like, I don't know. I don't know. Could be. So I can't get any data on you for that one.
Yes. Let's talk about the need. We don't have much longer, but I just want to quickly touch on, people want to be having more sex. They want to be having more better sex.
Yeah.
And a lot of people have been in relationships where they like slowly desire dies.
Yeah.
Let's just talk about a few ways that we can re-enlighten that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, so I started out teaching basically orgasm techniques because that's what people want. They're like, I want to learn how to have sex, good sex. I want to learn techniques. And I'm like, great. Then I realized, oh no, you need bedroom communication skills if you're going to be really good in bed. It's not just about the techniques. You have to be able to talk about it, ask for what you want, get feedback, make your partner comfortable, to have sexy, dirty talk, worship, adoration, appreciation, encouragement. These are all really important. So then I realized, oh, okay, what people really, really want from me are what I like to call erotic play dates. So when I had Dr. Patty create Expand Her Orgasm Tonight for me, I said, break it down because it's a fair, it's a practice. So like anything, martial arts, yoga, whatever, you follow the form and you get better and better at it over time. Mm-hmm. Create for me 21 erotic play dates that will help people learn all the facets of being an incredible doer. And the play dates end up being really fun. So then I said, all right, well, how many erotic play dates could I come up with for people? And I came up with 48 fun things you can do and learn in the bedroom together or solo. Because a lot of people are like, well, just because I don't have a partner doesn't mean I don't want to make my sex life better. So I came up with that, and that was one of the last things I wrote. It's called Your Sex Life Bucket List. I'll put a link on moreluke.com. All the stuff we talked about, I'll write it down right after this and make sure it goes at moreluke.com. But the Sex Life Bucket List is 48 erotic play dates, and it's a downloadable PDF. So you could download it and make 2 copies, give one to Cara, and then it comes with a 40-minute video where I walk you through all the play dates. That's your first play date, is marking which things sound fun to you. A's are, oh, it's definitely going to go on my sex life bucket list. B's are, well, it wouldn't be on my list, but if Cara wanted to do it, I would just totally do it with her. Yes. And C's are, it's not for me right now. Yes. Never say never, because the things you used to look at and go, oh, I would never wear a pleather bustier and lizard pants on a podcast. And now here you are. Yeah. Right?
Yeah. And standards slowly drop.
Standards slowly drops. I appreciate that I can add to your slowly dropping standards. But the Sex Life Bucket List is really fun because people are like, just tell me what fun things I can do. And so when you get your Sex Life Bucket List and your partner has theirs and then you cross tab them, there's your 9 or 10 things and you're like, well, what are we going to do? We're going to have some really good fun times learning these new things or doing these things. Oh, we said we were going to do that. We never did it. Great to remember that was something that was going to turn us on. Yeah. So it's basically couples that play together, stay together, especially ones who play in the bedroom. Yes. And to get rid of the monotony of monogamous sex, you have to try new things. Yes. And so having a organized way to come up with your A list and then compare them with your partners if you're lucky enough to have a partner, can really give you like a whole new lease on life. Because instead of scheduling sex, which means intercourse, and she's not ready for it because she's far behind, she hasn't had a yoni massage, she's not turned on, so like I don't want to schedule sex. I mean, it all sounds good when I'm done, but it doesn't sound good when you're begging me for it. You know what I mean? So like if instead it was, let's find your G-spot, or let's try the new wand on you and see if we can activate your yoni today. Yes. That sounds a lot more fun, and it probably leads to much better intercourse more often than if you weren't doing this.
Even to openly speak about it would just be really fun.
Yeah.
And so where was that? Was that
Sex Life Bucket
Sex
List.
Life Bucket
But
List?
I'll put it on moreluke.com.
Yeah, so just to clarify for me, just let me tuck my penis in here. It's supposed to be like a huge. It's a list of things that you could try.
48 sexy ideas.
Oh, okay, great.
For
And then you go through
erotic
it
play dates in the
separately,
bedroom.
maybe, and then come back together and go. Oh,
Do it together.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, you
cool.
do it together. You watch the video, and I explain each thing, and you're like, oh, that's interesting. I never even knew that was a thing. I'm putting that on my A list.
Ah, sick. Okay, that sounds incredible. That's a great little tippo, and I'm gonna get into that.
Good.
Yeah, and this,
Yeah.
and my big penis is on its way.
Yeah, I was going to say something about you feeling like during Kara's pregnancy that it wasn't the right time for you to pump your penis. I actually think that would have been a great time because when you're not having a lot of sex, you're atrophying. And you want to reverse the atrophy. So just like you're building your bicep, you're pumping and you're bringing blood flow into your penis. You can just use the penis pump to keep, you don't have to use it for penis enlargement. That's what most guys do.
Yes.
But there's a lot of guys, I'm 53, I just got divorced, my wife never had sex with me, my penis is not hard anymore, I don't know what to do, and I'm worried it seems like it shrunk, what do I do? There's a lot of guys that use pumps for that. There's as many guys that are like, I'm freaking jacked, but my dick looks like Tom Thumb. And they want a dick that matches the rest of their body. They
Yes.
want a big dick. And the thing is that a lot of people are like, oh no, your dick is fine. It's like, no, if you want a big dick, have a big dick. If you'd like that, you should have that. If all you want to do is make sure you're not atrophying as you age, do that. It's like whatever you want to do with a pump. But all it's doing is drawing the blood in, like you get a big, super big heart on.
Yep.
And then your body's like, oh, I can hold all that blood. Okay, I'm going to stretch a little and get bigger. Next time you pump, it's like, oh, I can hold all that blood. I'll stretch and get a little bit bigger. And so as long as you rest between pump days, this is the one thing guys make the mistake. They're like, once they get a pump, they're like, I'm just going to pump every day. I'm going to pump to level 11. I'm going to pump 16 times. I'm going to do, and it's like, dude, slow down. You know how when you pump your bicep and you got to take a day off, and you got to have arm day, you got to have leg day, you
Yes.
got to have dick day.
Yes.
But you don't do dick day 2 days in a row, just like you don't do arm day 2 days in a row.
Yes.
Same thing.
Yeah, you do like 10 minutes maybe 3 times a week.
Yeah. 3 times a week would be great, but once a week you'll still have amazing results. I mean, honestly, it's just expanding that blood carrying capacity, it's just keeping the atrophy at bay.
Yeah. Susan, you're such a joy. Every time I talk to you, you inspire
I love you so
me.
much.
And I'm very thankful to meet you in person now. And that you put me in snakeskin pants and a leather bustier.
You look fabulous in it. Your boobs look so sexy and hot in that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you
What
look
are these
gorgeous.
hats called?
You're so gorgeous.
Oh,
We did our first thing over Zoomies, and I was like, God, he's beautiful. And then when I got out of the car and you walked out, and I was like, oh my God, he's more gorgeous than I even imagined. You are just you are stunning, and you are a beautiful man. You have the best heart. You're so smart and interesting and fun and charming, and God, the charisma. I mean, you are a level 11.
Oh, well, thank you. Damn it. That's a beautiful thing to say.
My pleasure. You earned it all.
Yeah. Your pleasure. So it was a rapture touch.
It was a touch of rapture.
Yeah.
There we go.
I think that brings us full circle. Thanks so much to Susie B for coming on the Zaddy Zone.
Oh, I came so well. Thank you.
Unstoppable.